President Biden, we are getting whiplash out here from all the mixed signals you are sending. The media reports that there's already finger-pointing and a blame game going on inside the administration for who's responsible for this mess. But there is one person who can fix this: the President of the United States. President Biden, if you care about the border, if you care about stopping the cartels who are engaging in all kinds of bad acts, President Biden, if you want to stop the disaster that's unfolding here and will only get worse in the coming months, President Biden, you should declare a national emergency and deploy the vast powers of your administration to stop what's happening here. We here in Arizona are willing to step up and do our part. Yesterday, I declared a state of emergency at the border, and I announced we're deploying the National Guard. Under the leadership of newly appointed Adjutant General Carrie Muhlenbeck, we will be sending up to 250 of our best women and men to our border communities, including here in Yuma. They'll be able to provide logistical, field, and operational support to Yuma County Sheriff Leon Wilmot and his team. Standing behind me are legislative leaders, and we are all united on this. We're willing to pay for this out of our own budget, even though this is a federal responsibility, and the cost should be fully paid by the federal government. I'd like to thank the members of the legislature that are here with me today: Senate President Karen Fann, Speaker Rusty Bowers, Senator David Gowan, Senator Sina Kerr, Representative Tim Dunn, Representative Joel John, Representative Joanne Osborne, and Representative Regina Cobb. I want to thank you all for being here. Also, standing behind me are brave and dedicated local officials who are on the front lines dealing with this Biden-caused mess. I want to thank Sheriff Wilmot for his hard work and dedication for keeping our borders secure. I know you and your team have worked overtime to address this crisis, and I want you to be rest assured that help is on the way. I also want to thank Yuma Mayor Doug Nichols, Yuma County Supervisor Jonathan Lyons, and our other local leaders for your partnership. This is going to take an all-hands-on-deck approach, and I know I can count on your leadership and partnership as we continue to face these challenges. And to our local agriculture leaders here in Yuma, I assure you that we will resolve this crisis. We hear you, we hear your concerns, and we will take all actions necessary to support you. This starts with the deployment of our National Guard. Now, there's certainly more work to be done, but this is a step in the right direction. Now I want to introduce Adjutant General Carrie Muhlenbeck to provide more details on how the National Guard will support the efforts here at the border. General.
Thanks, Governor Ducey. Thank you to all of you for coming today. The dedicated men and women of the Arizona National Guard stand ready to support local law enforcement as they deal with the second and third order consequences from the situation at the border. The service members will be tasked to perform an array of services to the field. Most of these come in the form of administrative support, support that is not directly on the front line. So if you will, we go in behind the lines to take the badges and put them back out into the community. So that's what we're trying to do in a supportive role. We're trying to surge badges into the communities here that are most effective. I can tell you that we are currently processing requests from counties. We're shaping the mission to where the need is best met across the counties listed in the Governor's Emergency Declaration. I'm very proud of our service members. They've been called to serve selflessly throughout the past year, and they've answered the call, and they're going to do it again. We have our joint task force established They are currently in the process of receiving service members. We have an initial command cell at Papago Park Military Reservation to start the initial fold-in of service members. We're starting to embed liaison officers at the different counties to better shape our mission. We will start in processing service members today, most likely Friday, and then also Monday and Wednesday of next week. We'll come in with groups. We're trying to align their specialties with the missions that they'll be tasked to accomplish. Obviously, we're sensitive to where our service members currently reside, so we'd like to keep them in their home of record or at least close to that. I think that's a good piece for morale, and I think it's fiscally responsible as well. So again, I'm very proud of our service members. I'm very thankful. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the employers out there in our community who also support our service members when they leave their civilian job, go to work, and then support them when they return. Thank you. Thanks, Governor.
Thanks very much, General Muhlenbeck. I'm grateful for your leadership and your service to our state and to our country. Now I'd like to introduce Yuma County Sheriff Leon Wilmot to give more details on what him and his team are seeing on the ground here in Yuma. Sheriff?
Thank you. Thank you, Governor, and thank you for your support. And I also want to thank our delegation from the state that's here to actually see and feel and hear what we in law enforcement are seeing each and every day. For anybody to tell you that there's not a crisis on the border would be intellectually being dishonest to each and every person that we serve in our communities. And that goes not only for Yuma County, but the rest of the United States. I've heard it said before, and I will tell you again, that with the 31 border sheriffs along the southwestern border, Homeland Security, border security, public safety, and public health have always been and will continue to be our priorities serving our communities. Working side by side with our federal partners, and now with the assistance of the governor declaring the emergency, being able to obtain those resources that we need to help augment getting badges out on the road and not being able to be stuck doing the other necessary mission that's in our office. I will be able to send troops out into the further east desert, where we are now seeing an increase exploited by the cartels of openings in our desert. We've already had to respond to and recover 4 dead bodies this year alone that were abandoned and left out into the desert. We've already conducted a number of rescues out in the desert in the east part of the county, and we're starting to see an increase in the smuggling of hard narcotics into the United States in those areas where Border Patrol has a gap because they've been exploited into this humanitarian crisis that you're seeing down here along the river corridor. So with those resources coming to fruition, we met with a lot of her staff and coordinators yesterday to be able to help augment our operations on that aspect. So thank you, Governor. Thank you, General, for your help, and we'll be available for questions after that. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Sheriff Wilmot. I'm grateful for your efforts to keep our border communities safe. Now I want to hand it off to Mayor Doug Nichols for a status report on the situation here in Yuma. Mayor?
Thank you, Governor. Right now in Yuma, we're approaching our 3,000 number of releases into the community. Fortunately, we've had some great nonprofits step up to really address those concerns and getting people transferred to regional shelters. But that doesn't resolve the situation. The governor said it best: this is a national issue, not a local issue. So our local nonprofits, while they're doing great work, that's not the end solution. And so I really wanted to thank the governor for the declaration of emergency. It is an extremely important step to know that what our concerns here in Yuma are have been heard. They've been heard at the state level. They've been heard at the federal level, but the response is coming from the state at this point. And having that commitment for the dollars and for the people to make a difference is extremely important. That really needs to be focused on the larger discussion. How are we really supposed to address this? Release into communities without robust infrastructure, robust nonprofits, and robust way to deal with those releases. This declaration of emergency, this proclamation of emergency, accentuates that. It really calls out what the struggles are that we're facing here in the border area. So I'd like to thank the governor, welcome the general and all her men and women serving into Yuma County, and all of our state legislators that are helping out to making sure that this issue is not being overlooked, that this issue is one of the most important issues that we're facing here in the Yuma community, and that this is something that needs to get resolved, not just for Yuma, but for the benefit of the whole nation. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mayor Nichols. And now I want to introduce and say thank you to both Mayor Nichols for his longstanding partnership and to the Mayor of San Luis for his longstanding partnership. Jerry Sanchez, will you come up here, Mr. Mayor, and give us an update on what's happening in San Luis?
Thank you, Governor. Well, first and foremost, Governor, thank you for this opportunity. I've been very grateful, very vocal that of all the governors I've known, you've been the one that going to San Luis several times. I think more than 4 or 5 times, and that makes a big difference. And the community listens, and the community sees what's going on. When I got invited to participate in this event, I said yes, I will, because it's very important. Because people will say that there is no humanitarian crisis, that there is no issues in the border. The city of San Luis has been on survival mode, I call it, for the past 4 years. Before COVID, we had asylum seekers, and it was really stressing our nonprofit and our religious organizations to move them, to transfer them. And it is a big issue. The city of San Luis depends on our border to be open and to function. We're a small community. We're not a rich community. We don't have the number of for the amount of population that we have. We're lacking close to 12, 14 officers. When I had a meeting with the chief of Border Patrol 2 weeks ago, and we discussed the issue, when I hear that the Border Patrol is being overwhelmed, when I hear they're not able to be in our streets, in our area, that's worrisome. Because when our police officers are in deep trouble or they need something, Border Patrol has always been there. And now we don't see them. They're doing something else, and that's creating a crisis. And not only do I want to aspect of it, but also the economic impact it's causing, because